Men have all the toxic masculinity, just like their fathers did, to punch a hole, but none of the common sense to fix the hole.
This is a sip tea moment. We don't call it mic drop here, teammates. It's a sip tea moment.
All say, oh, we don't care, whatever. But somewhere or the other, everyone cares.
The ones that are saying that you need to be less or you're pretending are insecure about what they see in you they can't find in themselves. Be chalant to
Only
me.
Only girls like nonchalant guys. Women don't like
I
nonchalant
don't want
guys.
a nonchalant guy. The number one thing that would be so much easier if I wasn't a woman would be fundraising. I'm telling you, when a woman wins, we all win.
We all win. When one woman,
wins.
Whenever I win.
Irene is the living embodiment of boldness and truth. She is unapologetic. She's the founder of FEM Entity, a wellness platform created for women by women. She's also the force behind Digital Flow, a tech company solving real problems without the ego. In the male-dominated field, she has set her mark. And in this conversation, she opens up about the pressure to be quiet, the struggle to be taken seriously, and the fire it takes to keep showing up, even when the world says you're too much. This isn't a story about balance. It's a story about power, bias, identity, and fighting for your worth and building it anyway. This is Irene, and this is her story. Let's spill the tea.
Hi teammates, welcome to another amazing episode. Today we have Irene!
Hi, everyone.
Cheers!
Cheers. So honored to be here with Tea with B.
Tea with B. Irene, tell us about yourself.
Oh my goodness. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm the co-founder and CEO of FEM Entity, and that's a digital wellness marketplace that helps to connect women to reputable wellness practitioners through an app with the benefit of artificial intelligence. And if that wasn't enough, I also run Digital Flow, which is a consultancy that helps small to medium businesses empower themselves with sales processes, sales enablement, and CRM tools.
That's really cool. So that is the reason I did not give Irene an introduction, because she's a woman who does not need an introduction. She does lots of things. She's all over the city, and I love it.
Oh my gosh, you're the sweetest.
Irene, when you were growing up, how did you realize that, I need to build something exclusively for women. I need to do something in this space?
Oh, that's such a good question, because truthfully, I didn't think I was going to be here. This was not the beauty of entrepreneurship is you never know where you're going to end up. You just kind of have to roll with the blessings is what I've been calling it. But when I was a kid, I was just really drawn to creative passions, things that were challenging, but also allowed me to make an impact. So even if it was difficult, I loved trying to get that challenge. I loved overcoming something that I knew was uniquely my own challenge, or even offering different solutions to something that if people were like, I have no idea how to overcome it, or I don't know how to tackle this project, that's concept. I'm like, well, let me try. Let me put my brain around it. And if it doesn't work, hey, it's okay. It's okay to fail. And that was something that was really embedded in me young, is fail and fail fast. Even as an entrepreneur, you are always told if you're going to fail, do it quickly, do it early, and then move from it. And I feel like that was really ingrained with me as a child to just try. If it fails, then the worst thing it is that it just didn't work. And then keep moving, because now at least you have that failure in your back pocket and you won't make that mistake again. And trust me, as an entrepreneur, mistakes are common, constant.
That is so true. Yeah, you only learn by doing things.
Exactly. And so unless you do it, you just won't know.
How badly I messed up in my first episode. Clearly. And my guest was so patient and I had no idea. But that's when I realized if I never started, I would have never realized what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
You're so right. And I love your code, rolling with the blessing. I'm putting that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every episode I'm like, put that on a t-shirt. I think I'm going to have a merchandise line. So, a lot of people have amazing ideas. I talk to young people, my fellow classmates or teammates. Teammates
are the cutest thing.
I know, right? They have really cool ideas. But the problem is, more than half of the people are just stuck in the gap between having the idea and not able to execute it. It's not like they don't have the resources or they don't have the means, but it's just the gap that is
That
planning
push.
something and executing it. How can you
yeah.
overcome that gap?
Oh, that's such a good question because I get that all the time. There's some women that are like, I'm a dreamer. I'm the dreamer of it. I just love thinking. And
Girl, you got to dream with open eyes.
that's a good one too. But whenever I meet someone and they are that dreamer, the best thing is find yourself an accountability buddy. Find yourself that person that is the executor, that rolls things out, but also that keeps you accountable. Because I know for me, at least there's so many times in my life that I'm just like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. It doesn't happen because nobody checked up on me and I didn't check up on myself. And it just kind of fell to the wayside because I was just like, well, no one really thought that was going to exist anyways. So for me, I'm like, if you know yourself is kind of like, oh, I'm dreaming, I can think of all these things, but I don't know how to put them down. Find yourself someone that will keep you accountable, or even find yourself that thing that maybe it's like a vision board. Maybe it's a manifestation board where you are holding yourself accountable to that one SMART goal that you're going to achieve in a certain timeline, and just do that. Because keep going. Like if you can think of it, you can think of so many things, but unless you move, none of it's going to be created.
That's so true. And don't worry about the blink of this lamp.
Yeah.
This is like a magical lamp. So when it agrees with anything that you say on TV, it blinks.
Oh, wow. Okay. Magic. Okay. Thank you, light.
Yeah.
Thank you, light,
Like,
for
you know,
agreeing
the
with
light
me.
effect.
Oh, the light effect.
The light effect.
So I just got the light effect.
You just got the light effect.
Oh, that's so cute.
The universe agreed with what you said.
I love that. Okay. Go on, light. I'm like, God just was in this room. Hell yeah.
God is always everywhere. I love it.
that.
Yeah. I so deeply felt when you said that when you talk to these women and they say I'm a dreamer, because there's no harm in dreaming, but
Absolutely.
it breaks my heart to see women who have like extreme potential to just change the world, but they're just stuck in that dreaming stage. Do you think that the society has a part to play in this by like maybe not encouraging them to an extent that they should be encouraging or empowering them? Or is it just like them?
I think it's a twofold thing because I definitely feel there is this amount of self-worth and self-gratification that we want to achieve because we live in a society that you can have instant gratification. And as an entrepreneur, especially an entrepreneur that has big dreams, one thing that's not easy is getting gratification. Even when you're doing all the right things, you get traction, even if you get revenue, even if you get customers, gratification is this thing that's like far off into the distance and you don't really see it until like way later. And so being that dreamer, you usually want to have that gratification. So it's realizing in the self what is bringing you joy to keep moving you forward in the dream. Because if it's just a dream and you just like thinking about it, sure, you can keep thinking about it. But when you're actually in the motions of doing it, you really need to reflect, what are the actions I'm doing that is bringing me joy in that stream? Because there's tons of times in FEM Entity, I could have quit. I could have said, you know what, this is too hard. Or you know what, I don't like the way that that person talked to me and just decided to stop. But you have to find the joy to keep moving. Now, I'm saying that, and there is also a huge bias that lives in the system in the society where it's not easy for a woman to be a dreamer, have big dreams, and execute them because there's a lot of societal pressures. There's a lot of societal norms that you're like, oh, I'm also 28 and I want to get married and I want to have a baby and I want to like be there 24/7 for this baby that I'm bringing into the world. These are all things that also go on in a woman's world. And it's just like, how do I have both? How do I have it all? And again, it always goes back to what's bringing you joy. And when it brings you joy, it'll bring you time to do the things you like to do.
I agree with that. And I don't believe in those like, statements and facts which are like, oh, you need to prioritize something. You cannot. Like, it goes hand in hand, your personal and professional life.
Absolutely.
You should have a balance of both instead of, I feel like a lot of people try to inculcate this when we grow up in our heads that, oh, you're a woman, so you have to take care of your family and you have to raise a family and that's what you're meant for.
Yeah, especially I feel like in our cultures, it's almost a responsibility that once you get to, okay, you have your career, you've had your education, because education's always so key. Get your education. Don't talk to boys.
Yeah, like as if like, you know, they're going to do something.
They're going to take away your education. Don't talk to boys. Focus on your education. Get your job. And then after you get your job, take care of your family.
I'm going to like echo this again and again. A woman has to fight for so many things against the world. She has to stand up for herself.
Every
the
time.
least you can do for her, being her parents, is not make her fight against you. And a lot of women are going to resonate with this, especially South Asian women, because every girl, you know, deep down, most of the girl has this dream of being like the fantasy of just being on camera, being popular, famous.
Absolutely.
That. Like, why not? We love that.
Yeah.
And the fact that we encourage that so much when, you know, we're kids, that everyone's like, oh, go, show your uncle your dance.
It's like, remember that dance you always show auntie? Or like the dance you did at breakfast? Do it again. And like, and do it bigger.
So much. And then when I grew up, nobody's asking me do that dance again, and you're getting frustrated just because I'm showcasing my art.
Right. It's like, I'm being creative. I'm being spontaneous. And you have a self-esteem. That's another thing that is like so empowering to see in South Asian women, is that self-esteem come out when we get to take the stage. But then we're told, okay, we need to like dim the light because we need to be professional, or we need to dim it down because you have a career to uphold and a name and a responsibility. But it's like, no, you can shine so bright and so beautifully, be doing exactly what you want to do.
Yes, and I absolutely agree with that. Like, shine bright like a diamond,
like
even brighter than a diamond.
Come
like,
through.
Just go out and take the world. Irene, I really want to like ask you something about, you know, you said gender biases. But, you know, now the things are changing. We're into a fast-paced world. And a lot of people have this argument that why there's so much drums banging about women empowerment and all of that. Now there's more equality. Things have changed. What's your take on that?
I think, that is such a good question. Things have changed, gender bias. These are all such key buzzwords. And like, we just had a conference about this with the International Peace Conference. Fatu, we love you.
Amazing conference. Love it.
It was so good. St. Mary's, killing it. But
Entrepreneurship Center, killing it.
all of the drops, just all of them. And so what's really interesting, though, the world is moving, but slowly. And also in parts. Like, if you were to look at the States, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. That is not, we aren't moving forward there at all. But in Canada, there is motions of movement to help women in achieving better care, in finding ways to have education, period supplies, educating about their bodies. We are moving to accepting women more, but there is still, when you reflect on where we started to where we are right now, there's hundreds of years before us where we really suppressed what possibility that a woman could have when it came to their dreams, their aspirations, breaking down ceilings, excelling in careers, even just becoming leadership positions. There's less than 5% of Canada are female CEOs. And so increasing that margin would be huge. So we are making a move, because there used to not be female CEOs in Canada. And now saying 5%, that's a big deal. It's a small big deal. Let's remind.
It's like one fish in the ocean.
Yeah, we got one pretty fish in the ocean to rule a little bit. But now it's like, okay, let's try to see that 5% become like 50%. Like, let's see that be 100% of women being diverse in positions of power. And these things, they sound so easy, but then to convince the rest of society that this is not dramatic change. It's not dramatic for a woman to want to lead a company. It's simply her right. And truthfully, probably she's more qualified than a lot of the men trying.
Yeah, and you need
no tea, no shade. All tea, all shade.
I love that. My argument to that always is, you know, why we need women who can represent, and women, we need to hear what they're saying and their opinions and their voices. Because tell me one thing, when Jesus rose again on the third day of his death, who did he appear to? It was a woman.
Mary.
It was women, Mary.
Yeah, it was
he
Mary.
did not appear to a man.
He
wanted a woman to see him first. He made sure that the lady was the
woman.
first.
It was
a
Mary.
woman who saw him first. And that woman passed the message to the world. So if you don't believe women, you are not believing the word of God.
And there we go. I love that. That's such a good one. Put it on a shirt.
Put it on a shirt. Yeah. And, like a lot of times when we have conversations around this, that yes, we need to do this, people, like, kind of try to mistake you as somebody who is, oh, she's too, like, she's all about women empowerment. She's all about women, women, women. They don't understand where we are coming from. And they just made this assumption that you are not a nice person, you're rude, you're mean, and all of that. Because I get that from a lot of my acquaintances.
Acquaintances.
Okay, acquaintances.
Followers.
Like,
fans.
yeah. They're like, oh my God, you are like very, you come across as very intimidating. I'm like, oh, why is that? It's like, because you're too bold and you're too loud. And I'm like, And then one person said this, because you pretend to be too bold. I'm like,
we ain't pretending over here, sir.
I think
You're
that's
just
who I
authentic.
am. There's no pretending there.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Because I know at the end of the day, we all say, oh, we don't care, whatever. But somewhere or the other, everyone cares. Let's just
Everyone
be
cares.
honest. Everyone who's saying, I don't care. Come on. It definitely stings you.
It stings you.
Yeah.
For me, I feel I'm also at the age where the opinions of sheep aren't going to hurt me anymore.
Did you say sheep?
The opinions of sheep aren't going to hurt me anymore. And they used to, because a lot of it comes down to self-reflection and self-acceptance. Because I remember the young me, the girl that was trying to find her path, the girl that was having big dreams but not knowing how to walk the talk. She would hear those and then I would try to fit myself awkwardly in this like quiet, peaceful box. What I learned is women that try to mold themselves are shrinking themselves to who they hope to accept them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have my worth be something that I need someone else to accept. It needs myself to accept myself. Because if we're talking about Christ, he accepts us in our fullest and he created us in our fullest. Yeah. So why should I not show up in the way that he created me? Because I'm exactly the way that I'm supposed to be in all of my pure woman loving, empowering self, my unapologetically loud laughing, loud being self. And the truth of the matter, the sheep that are saying that you should shrink yourself are jealous. And the ones that are saying that you need to be less or you're pretending are insecure about what they see in you, they can't find in themselves.
Yeah.
And that's something that takes a lot of reflecting and meditating on. But it's also something that's like, once you reach a point where you're like, I am happy with myself. And when you can do the action of like looking at yourself in the mirror and going, I love myself, the thoughts of other people are like water off a duck's back. You're just like, cool. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for the like and the subscribe. Like, on to the next one. Sweetie, please.
People need to understand, and it says in the Holy Book Bible too, that we are here for the community project, to form a community, to build a community. And all these terms where it's like we have to fight for being a woman, humans created all of this. Like they just built up all of this.
Societal BS that was created where really at the beginning, it's a unity between man and woman.
Yes.
It's a collaborative effort. It's a community. And even when you see communities that are truly living in that same kind of breath of like in unity, they're so simple. They're so easy to coexist with each other. And it's really in man and in society today that we've created so much like clutter.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it's more of like, they have made a whole like agenda about it. Like they'll try to survive on this where men are just like, they're not ready to accept that no matter how strong, masculine you are, at the end of the day, you need that feminine mindset in your life. You don't want that. You need that. And I cannot
you
say
need to
better
be
than
a
that.
feminine. You need to be feminine in order to relate to a woman. You know what's funny? I was watching something. I think I was on like Instagram, I was swiping and she said men have all the toxic masculinity just like their fathers did to punch a hole, but none of the common sense to fix the hole. I was like,
this is a sip tea moment. We don't call it mic drop here, teammates. It's a sip tea moment.
yeah.
ASMR.
So that I was just like, oh, Clocked it. Yep. That's exactly it.
I love that. And then there's this whole fantasy going around, the nonchalant kind of guys and, not caring, the trying to be cool but not so cool, the pretending ones.
Oh my gosh.
the
Be
stoic
chalant.
ones.
Like, why are you all nonchalant over there? Be chalant to
Only
me.
girls like nonchalant guys. Women don't like
I don't want a
guys.
nonchalant. If you can sit there or if you cannot text me for a whole hour and you're not missing my presence, then you don't need me that much.
I just don't understand this concept because
why are you not in my phone?
What is this? Like, yeah.
Why aren't you not obsessed? I'm a woman.
Exactly. Exactly. I completely agree with that. I'm like, yes. I mean, like when we talk about things in entrepreneurship and business too, what were the challenges you faced when you were entering in the business sector as a female business owner, which you thought, oh, if I was a man, that would be so easy?
Oh, that's such a good question. Wow, literally a million things. The number one thing that would be so much easier if I wasn't a woman would be fundraising. Every single person, there's actually someone that even was mentoring me, and she looked at me and she goes, Irene, you know what you should do? You should hire a man, give them 1% to 2% of your company, and just let him fundraise for you. He'll be the face of fundraising. And make sure it's like a white man, and then you can just work on the business while he's fundraising. I was like, but the name of the company is FEM Entity.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you know what? At the end of the day, an investor doesn't care about the business. They don't care about the model. Well, they do. But especially when you're an early stage company, an investor bets on the founder. An investor bets on the person that they're pitching. And so if they see someone that they resonate with and they look at them and they're like, yeah, an individual like them has succeeded in the past, they will also succeed. So that bias stems from right at the beginning. And me being a female, there isn't a lot of representation, especially in leadership, of a woman being successful, raising and doing what I'm doing. And so to then try to relate to what they see, it's not common because they haven't seen success before. And so now it's like, okay, I need to show them what success could look like. That would never be something that a man would be anticipated to do or see, because right now men get 98% of venture capital funding right out the gate. And that equates to trillions of dollars. Women merely get less than 4% globally.
And those are the stats.
So
if people think we are just like putting words out there or blabbering stuff, the numbers speak for themselves.
Women only get less than 4% globally. And that 4% does equate to a couple $1 million. But think of it, 4% equals $1 million. Then the VAT that is venture capital is trillions of dollars that we're not even merely being considered for. And so when I think back, I'm like, the road could be so much easier if I was born a white male, but it wouldn't be as exciting.
Oh my God. I love that you said that. I love you ended on that note, but it wouldn't be that exciting. Like, how do I explain you the joy of buying a new outfit, getting my nails done, my hair done, the whole process of
like
doing
my makeup
skincare,
looks so
ready.
good.
And not just that.
The shoes look
whole
good.
process of knowing that things are not easy for us, but we're going to make it.
But then at the end, I'm still going to succeed.
I'm still going to succeed and do much better than you, or like do really
And in
well.
heels.
In my heels, walk with the brightest dress in the room. Oh my God.
The pinkest dress. It's truly so fun. There's a little bit of pride really that goes like a chip on your shoulder when you go and you pitch and you see that male counterpart that is like, he has his chest puffed up and he thinks he's so great. And then we walk out with the winning prize. It gives another kind of confidence. I'm telling you, when a woman wins, we all win.
We all win. When one woman, that's
when
what
one
I
woman
say.
wins.
Whenever I win something, like anything, let it be like a business competition, an acting thing, or I get a new project, I always say this is not just my win, it's the win of entire South Asian community specifically, just because the place where I come from, the city, is Aligarh, where many women still do not have educational rights. So when it comes to arts and entertainment, forget about that.
That's not going to happen.
Like, my own people are against me for pursuing my dream of being in this industry.
In the industry.
So when I do this, the women in Aligarh who are sitting in their homes who are watching this
wish
will
it could
get
be them.
so inspired, and they'll know if she can do it,
they can too.
why can we
What's
not?
stopping us?
And that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. I
That
think
is
about
so
that.
beautiful.
I know, right?
Oh, we have a tea sip right
We
there.
have a sip tea
We have
moment.
a tea sip.
Cheers.
Yeah, that was a tea sip moment
Like
for
all
sure.
of this is funding their agendas and propagandas where they're like making such a big fuss about you should not do this, and if you do this, we'll do this. I feel so bad for period poverty. Like
difficult.
that issue itself, just like it boils my blood. I'm like,
Because it's
you're
such a
telling
basic
me-
need.
It's such a basic need, and you're telling me that it's like women are still, you know, there are practices, especially in rural parts of many countries, that if a woman gets her period, she's not allowed to like touch things, come in that, this, and she's supposed to live in a different, still I see, live in a different house completely. Not
You're
come in the
considered
kitchen.
dirty.
She's dirty, she's
Yeah.
allergic, and people are doing like those witch stuff too.
Yep.
Like she's a witch, something
Yep.
has
Something's
has possessed her.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
but it's just her period.
yeah, it's just a period, and this is what God gave us.
Yeah.
If I am capable of creating a life on my own, and I'm capable of doing every sort of thing, why do you doubt me when I'm just like, it's something given by God. It's not even like,
Yeah. It's
I
not even a
created
sin.
this. Yeah,
but it
it's
was
not even
created
sin.
a sin when it's like, well, if you didn't create a baby this month, then what did you create? That was where it stemmed from. And it's just like, if women aren't creating babies, then what are we doing? We're not doing anything. It's like, that's such a like old time thought, but a very dead ideology to me anyways.
Yeah. And there's also this like all sorts of topics, not just like about entrepreneurship, but also, you know, topics like people don't consider marital rape as a rape. I'm like, what do you mean?
But it's still, if it's not
still-
consensual, if she
People
didn't say,
don't take domestic violence seriously.
there's a
like,
big issue with that, especially in Nova Scotia.
like domestic abuse is not a thing.
But they think, well, because man and women decided to combine themselves and before the face of God, then what happens behind closed doors conceals in those closed doors. And what's so crazy to me is that almost we remove all protection away from a woman the moment that she decides to get married to someone. And it's like all those laws and regulations that we fought so much to have, the moment she gets married to a man, it's like, well, that man should protect you. Well, what happens when that man is not protecting?
It's not protecting.
Or
And
providing.
being a man, if you're abusing a woman, whether it be verbally,
Oh, you are the
physically,
smallest person in the
or
world.
emotionally, it's not about, you know, like how shallow of an individual you are, but it's more about you truly have no sense that you are genuinely falling a
problem.
war with the God.
Yeah. Yeah. Karma cycles, like you wouldn't believe. And when you think you've escaped the karmic cycle, no, that just means it's about to find you again. Like especially now I'm a Taurus, it's Taurus season. And so
Taurus season, we love it.
we love the grounding season, but also it reminds me every time Taurus season comes around that my own karmic cycle comes around again. And every time around my birthday, every time between April and May, I'm like, oh, there's a karmic shift. And really what I mean by saying this is the way that I thought or acted 365 days ago, something has shifted in a positive or at least a way that I have to reflect inward.
Oh, praise God. I love that.
It happens every single time. So anytime you're like, oh, I haven't had any karma yet, wait, you haven't completed your cycle yet and it will come. Because even this year has been the year of me really understanding what the word means to thrive. Like, what does it mean? Because I thought I was thriving. And then I recognized, I was so close to burning out. I thought it was thriving. It was burnout. And I just disguised it as being social and thinking like, oh, I'm thriving because I'm just everywhere. I'm doing it. No, honey, I was burnt out. And I had to really face that and be like, oh, okay. I thought I was thriving, but now let's really understand what does it mean for Irene to thrive.
Reality check. Yeah.
Really real.
Irene, before we wrap this episode, only if you're comfortable, I want you to share a story where you faced something, whether it be on the business field or in general, where you faced discrimination or anything just because you were a woman, and how did you deal with that?
Oh gosh, that's such a good one. There's so many. Okay, I'll talk about fundraising because it's the one on the top of my mind and it's most prevalent to FEM Entity right now. And so when we were first doing our pitching, obviously when like the SMU School of Business, they do amazing entrepreneurial sessions of like, how to make a business plan, how to do a pitch, or how to pitch to investors, communication, marketing. School of Business does great. But what they don't teach you is how to answer questions to investors. And one of the key things that is actually very prominent in fundraising for women is the biases that exist in investor relations. And so for us, and a little bit about me for a background and context, my dream is that I would have a fully functioning female team in tech, which is not something happening right now.
Women in tech, we love it.
We love seeing them.
Yeah.
And so I want a fully, like my leadership team, dev team, marketing, ops, everyone, women. I love it. And right now it is exactly that. And one of the investors looked at me and said, well, what happens if half of your team goes on maternity leave? That's not how a body...
We're not Bluetooth devices that one gets maternity, the other will too.
Yeah. Bing, bing. Like,
that happens with periods. I get periods. All my friends get periods. We're synced.
Yeah, that's a sync. That's a real thing.
And that's a real thing. If you hang out with someone, like if somebody's your bestie, you and your bestie will get periods at the same time.
All of the leadership team of FEM Entity are synced. So 12 of my girls get
the periods at the same time.
And
We're
you can
sync.
Yeah, you're all synced. That's a really real thing.
That's such a real thing.
That's such a real thing. But like getting pregnant, not a thing. And then to couple that, there was someone else that asked me, well, I'm very young. At the time I was only 25, and they said, well, how do you plan to grow yourself as well as your business? And it's just like, what do you mean grow myself? I'm grown. I'm a whole woman. Like you would never have thought if a man was 25 and they were on stage pitching, you would never ask them to like, what happens if you grow? I was just very young looking. I will say when I was 25, I looked like I was like 18 still. I think I still look young, but it's like one of those things that you're like, you would never ask a woman to justify her growth. You would only ask a man how they're justifying their business model. And so it's such a difficult atmosphere to navigate because you're like, I want to stand on business. Like I want to be a businesswoman. And yet I'm found answering questions about how I manage my life and how I manage my relationships. And it really gets frustrating and discouraging because you're like, that wasn't anything about my business. That was fully about me. And that didn't make me feel good at all. So going forward, I recognize my strength is actually in sales. And so I'm like, you know what? If this is going to be the investor relations, let's flip FEM Entity over and let's start selling to women and pitching to women that want this effort. Screw the white man. There's so many other ways that we can access funding and attract who we need. And so, yeah, that would probably be the most relevant story that I can think right now.
That's so good. Mine is like my childhood incident that happened. Mm-hmm. So I grew up in a boarding school for 8 years of my life.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah, and my first 3 years were not the best because I was in a different school.
Okay.
My last 5 years were amazing, best school, but the first 3 when I went to the first boarding school, I don't want to take names, but that was not great because it was an all-girls school.
Oh, wow.
So the vibe was so different. But only our tuitions used to be with like guys from different school, which was so weird. Oh. Just because we were 5th grade kids, so everyone was like, okay, they're just grade 5. We can mix these girls with the boys.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, sure. And then it was so weird because I've never been around guys. And then in grade 5, you're like with the guys. And I was just like, okay. And I have like my childhood friend, like really good friend, best friend, Shitija, her name is.
Oh.
And somebody was like disrespecting her.
No.
And somebody made her uncomfortable. And you know, with me, the thing is, my girls are my family. Like
absolutely.
My friends are my family. And it's like, you mess with me, I leave it on God.
Mm-hmm.
You mess with my girls, I will leave it on God. But
you're going to hear from me.
You're going to hear from me as well. I will come as God's messenger too.
Yeah.
So do not even like think of messing with my girls.
Yeah.
I'm very protective. Like even when we're walking,
Mother Bear comes out.
And this guy makes her uncomfortable and it's an all-girls school and it's a boarding school. And I just lost it because Shatija was crying. And I'm like, girl, I take this guy into girls' bathroom.
Into the girls' bathroom? What did you do?
We all beat him up.
You beat up a man in the girls' bathroom?
I am sorry, okay? I didn't know. He made my girl uncomfortable by
honestly
like, doing things.
Making a girl all the way to crying? Sir,
And she's
You went too
so-
far.
Yeah, and you literally, I don't want to quote specifics here, but if you make her uncomfortable, what am I supposed to do? I'll make you cry only now.
I hope he never finds a sharp pencil.
Yes.
I hope he can't find the cold pillow, the cold side of the pillow.
My God. And it's like, I would not do that now, but at that time I was a very angry kid. I was a very rebellious kid. Like, you do something to me,
I
I'll
feel
punch
also
you.
like as an independent woman, when you're a kid, I feel like a lot of women would resonate of like being angry as a kid because like you want to do things your way and you can't do things your way. And you're an
Yeah.
independent woman and you're like, why can't I have the thought in my head and you're not letting me do the thought.
My dad raised me like that, and I just had this anger inside me that, how dare you mess with my girl? I'm going to go now.
Yeah.
So it
I'm going to
was just
show
like
you
a
never to
very-
mess with me again.
It was a cute kids fight though. Like,
Of
you know,
course.
me, like, 4
Yeah.
something feet.
Oh my God. Trying to
in
punch.
the girls' bathroom, and all my girls are like, Charlie has lost it. What's happening? They all run. And one thing I love about my girl gang is you do something, all of them do that. All of them
Of
do
course.
it. And I'm
We
like,
all
we go
come
to the
together.
washroom together, we come out together, we go to
Yes.
like boarding school, you grow up like sisters.
Yes,
you
you
don't grow
do.
up like friends.
Yeah.
You will go to every place together. You sleep together, you get up together, you eat together.
Yep.
So the bonding just gets so much
really
stronger.
tight.
It's really tight.
Yeah.
Like, if you stand against my girl, I will stand up too.
Yes, absolutely. And so
Yeah.
it's like when you see, and so you feel so much more when, like, if someone else hurts you, it's like you hurt too. Like my aunts always say, when you cry, we cry even harder. And it's like, it's that same thing of like that girl community, that womanhood. It's so strong.
I know. I was like that little Dawn girl, the little gangster of the group.
I can totally see that too. You just all like what, 82 pounds of you just like roughing it up.
Roughing it up. I know, right? Well, Irene, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. I can
Such
just
a treat.
keep going on. This conversation is
I know,
so
we-
interesting.
we don't
It's
need
gonna
to
be
stop.
endless. We don't want to stop, but I know we have to, just for the sake of it. Thank you so much. Teammates, I want to tell you a little secret. This is our second recording, just because the first recording had some audio issues. And
Yeah.
I already announced the date. So this was going to be like, Irene, can you please do it? And she agreed last minute. It's all because of her. I am so grateful.
I adore you.
Like,
Are you kidding?
Love you, Irene. Thank
love
you
the
so
teammates.
much. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Cheers.